Today's sponsored video is brought to you by Quiff, a mobile phone betting app and a very rewarding way to place bets on football. The beautiful thing about Quiff is every time you place a bet, you have the potential for your bet to be quiffed. Well, getting quiffed basically means you have the potential for your bets to be supercharged. When you place your bet has the opportunity and chance for it to be potentially increased, going from 2-to-1 odds to 20-to-1 odds to even 52-to-1 odds and above. So basically what you have to do is whenever you place a bet, you really need to focus and really keep checking in to see what's happening. Today I'm going to walk you through how you actually place bets in your account. On the top left you'll see a rocket icon. You click on that and it gives you the option. You can then place the bets that you want to place for that account. So basically if you do swipe to the left, you'll get a lot of short odds, and if you swipe to the right, you'll get a lot of quick selection odds. So obviously, you pick the bet you want to pick, click on it, and you'll get all the list of statistics that you'd want to place bets on. Do you want to place bets on who's going to score in the first half, which team's going to get the most corners, etc, etc. Once you've taken your time deciding what bets you want to place, you add it to your accumulator on the bottom, and then once you've done that, you have the chance and opportunity for that bet to become supercharged, and it has the potential to get a boost where you can earn even more money. For example, you place a £5 bet and it's 20-to-1 odds, that has the chance to become £100, all free of charge. So you guys definitely download the Quiff app. It's going to be in the link in the description below, and don't forget as well, it's going to be on my Twitter page as well in case you guys miss out. Hello everyone, I'm NiniFC and this is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm going to bring you guys a video discussing who our potential centre forward options are going to be now that Alvaro Morata is injured. Now, with the extent of Alvaro Morata's injury, we're still not quite too sure yet whether he's going to be out for a month or possibly 2, or if he's actually going to come back in time for the Crystal Palace game, as there was a cryptic tweet released by Alvaro Morata where he stated that he was hoping to obviously play in that Crystal Palace game, which he quickly deleted. Maybe that could have been because he was being a bit too overly optimistic, or maybe the club are trying to keep that as a secret to actually surprise Crystal Palace and the league with the fact that Alvaro Morata isn't actually going to be out for a while. But in this video I'm going to be discussing who could potentially fill the void. And now how I see it as there being 3 potential options. Now, starting with the first one, Eden Hazard playing as a false 9. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. The minute I saw Alvaro Morata hobbling off in that Man City game, my first initial thoughts were, it looks like we could be seeing Eden Hazard playing up front. Now, I'm not going to lie, I got a tiny bit excited. Now, just to give you guys a quick brief lowdown, before we did sign Alvaro Morata, I was planning on releasing a video talking about why I felt Eden Hazard could be our striker if we didn't potentially sign someone. And the reason for me even thinking of that was the fact that I was feeling that if Eden Hazard's playing closer to goal, it could really transform him as a player and really bring out his best qualities. Now, I know that a lot of us complain about Eden Hazard not taking enough shots, but if he was to play up front and closer to goal, he's going to be compelled and he's going to be forced to take more shots because he's going to be near that area more often. And I was thinking, so remember, even though Eden Hazard doesn't constantly pepper the goal with shots, the guy is very clinical and has a very high success rate when it comes to finishing off. And I think that this could really elevate and turn him into one of the best players by far in the world. And of course, I look at similar players that had similar transformations. Of course, not quite related, but famously Gareth Bale, initially starting as a left back, then moving to a winger, then moving to an inside forward, then moving to a slash between playing behind the striker and playing on the right to cut inside and get nearer to the goal. And it's no surprise that as he was moving closer and closer to the goal, he was getting more goals in his game. Another famous example recently is Dries Mertens. He's become one of the best strikers in Europe, and this all came by a freak accident because Milik, their record signing at the time that they signed from Ajax, was out injured, and the coach experimented with playing Dries Mertens up front, and it's really turned him from being a very good European class winger to one of the best strikers in Europe. Alexis Sanchez is another similar example. When Arsenal played him up front as a striker, you saw what he did, how many assists he got, how many goals he scored, and he became one of the best players in the world. And I feel that's what Eden Hazard really needs to really transform his stay at Chelsea and really transform into the potential that he has, because he's very, very close to actually breaking that and becoming maybe a potential Ballon d'Or winner. It's close, and I feel that playing up front is going to bring the best out of what he can do and the best out of his qualities. We're seeing glimpses of, you know, obviously playing in that 3-5-2 where he's playing close with Alvaro Morata. Of course, that game against Atletico Madrid, one of the best individual performances we've seen from a Chelsea player in Europe for a very long time. And that shows you the potential that's there. And I'm hoping potentially Hazard could be fulfilling that striking role left by Alvaro Morata. I think with Eden Hazard, you have the guy who's fantastic in close areas, fantastic close control with his low centre of gravity. He's able to, with a drop of the shoulder, shift his body balance and put the defender off balance and skip past him. Of course, his dribbling ability is the best guy on the ball in the Premier League, and the fact that you can't really mark him. And I think that's what could really help the system even potentially, because with defenders, they prefer to mark strikers that play close to them. It's easier. Defenders find it much harder when someone's playing off them and playing in between them, because it falls down to communicating and dictating who's going to cover who whenever Hazard's moving this way or Hazard's moving that way. And I think that could really help him in terms of getting into those goal scoring opportunities and really help with the team. And of course, having with Pedro and Willian either side of him, Pedro, who's probably one of the best in the league when it comes to breaking the lines, making those runs in behind, freeing up space for Hazard, and Willian also providing a goal threat as well, where potentially he could be playing on the left hand side, where I feel Willian is a different class player, playing on the left compared to playing on the right. You just see a massive difference in his performance. I think that could really help. And let's not forget the fluidity with that potential front three. Now, of course, you have to remember, when Diego Costa was either suspended or injured, Conte was using Hazard up front. And it's no surprise that he got man of the match in each game. And let's not forget, he got those informs in FIFA 17 at the same time, playing up front. And of course, let's not forget as well, that was our most fluid display by a front three during that time. The link-up play was beginning to make sense, because Eden Hazard playing in the middle is just the best player at Chelsea and the best player in the league. And finally, those 1-2 passes that we always constantly make, that constantly get broken down all the time, were coming off. It was much more incisive, it was faster, it was quicker, it was more skillful, it was more brutal. And it was no surprise that we won those games 3-0 each time he was playing up front, and that he won, like I said, man of the match. And that potential's there. And I honestly feel that if Alvaro Morata is injured, it's not really the end of the world. Why? Because we've got Eden Hazard playing in a position where potentially it could really elevate his performances and really show people that this guy is the real deal. Of course, another possible alternative to Alvaro Morata being injured is sticking with Michy Batshuayi. Now, there is a benefit in using Michy Batshuayi. One thing that's really been holding him back at Chelsea is inconsistent game time. Now, of course, I am very critical with his performances, with good reason, and that's because his hold-up play, his ability at linking people up with the ball, and constantly misplacing passes or slowing down the play hasn't really been improving. But we have to realise, we have to remember, it's very hard to really improve when you're getting very minimal minutes. It doesn't help that he usually came on in the last 10 minutes last season. It doesn't help that he only plays against the small teams really when he is scoring the goals. He needs a consistent run of games where he's really able to get to grasp with what it means to become a Chelsea player, what it means to fulfill his task and role that Conte expects from him, and to really get that confidence in adapting a new style of play, because this is the thing we cannot forget. Michy Batshuayi at Marseille was a striker that played on the last line and played in the penalty box, and you can see that with his finishing. I probably have to say, just with his finishing attribute alone, Michy is probably the best finisher at Chelsea. I think a lot of us will agree with that. This is why he really needs to emphasise and really improve on the rest of his play. But it's not going to help if he's getting inconsistent minutes and not really getting minutes against some challenging opposition. I'm going to use Didier Drogba as the best analogy for Michy Batshuayi. Of course, we signed Didier Drogba for Marseille over 10 years ago, and Didier Drogba was very similar to Michy. You know, this guy was finishing off moves for Marseille. He was playing on the last line defence. The ball was coming to his feet. Now, when he came to Chelsea under Mourinho, it was completely different. He had to adapt his playing style completely because he was getting more aerial balls. He had to play with his back towards the goal more often. He was holding off defenders, holding off 2 at a time most games. And because he was still adjusting to this new role, he wasn't being as clinical up front. And usually that happens when, of course, you're not getting the ball in comfortable situations you're normally striking from. Everything was very alien to him, and it took him a year and a half to really help with this play. And to be honest, Didier Drogba didn't fully adjust his role until he had a striking partner. Now, you guys won't remember this, but during the 2005-06 season, second half of the season, Mourinho was using Crespo and Drogba up front together. Then the year after that, he had Shevchenko up with him, and that really helped Drogba because that freed up space for him, because he didn't have 2 guys marking him all the time, and he could utilise that, and that's where we really saw the real Didier Drogba. And of course, Michy Batshuayi is having the same type of growing pains where he's playing a very alien role to that he's been used to playing. And when you're not getting consistent game time, playing week in, week out to really iron that stuff out, it becomes nearly impossible. But I think with Michy, him playing consistently during Alvaro Morata, that could be a possibility, because hopefully that could help him iron out some of his games and really give him that confidence back, because at this moment in time, Michy's really losing that and missing out on it. And there is one more final possibility that Conte could use in regards to Alvaro Morata being out injured, and that is played with 2 up front. Now, it could either be Hazard and Michy. Yeah, that could work, but I don't think Conte will do that, because I don't think he's quite comfortable with Michy's inefficiencies when it comes to hold-up play. You know, Michy's still not good at that, and he breaks down too many moves, which isn't ideal. I really feel that Conte might even look at Hazard and Pedro playing up front as a 2. Pedro, this could be a very interesting role for him, because it would really utilise his off-the-ball ability, runs in behind, and freeing up space for Hazard. And of course, if you do have Pedro playing up front, you are getting good hold-up play in tight situations, and link-up play especially, which could really help Hazard. And of course, when you're playing with 2 up front, the minute one person's not doing their job, every move gets broken down. And it's even worse when you're using a wing-back system, as I keep telling you guys, because the wing-backs can't get forward if one of the front members aren't keeping hold of the ball. And I think that Conte could even look at Pedro. Now, of course, when we play against Man City, the first substitution Conte made was bringing on Willian. At the time, I kind of understood why. He's thinking, well, we're playing very deep. We need some of Willian's, you know, his running ability, dribbling style, collecting the ball from deep and really advancing the play and speeding it up. And he's thinking too, he's going to hold up the ball better than Michy in those situations. Of course, it wasn't to be. Willian had one of his worst ever performances, probably in his career, against Man City. But it was quite telling that Conte immediately went for Willian instead of bringing on Michy straight away. And I think that obviously makes it clear how Conte sees Michy at this moment. And I'm thinking with Pedro there playing up front with Hazard, that could be a potential facet that Conte is actually looking into. Because of course, if we were to continue with this 3-5-2, Cesc Fabregas will be playing more of the you know, hybrid midfield / front 3 role, and possibly even playing in behind, which will make for a very fluid system in terms of without the ball, we've got men in midfield, on the ball, we've got men up. And of course, when you've got, you know, when you've got Cesc playing closer to the goal with his link-up play, you know, probably the best in tight situations, his vision, that's going to help the front too. And I really feel that Conte could potentially be looking at that option now that Alvaro Morata is injured. Anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today. I want to read some of your thoughts and comments in the comment section as well. I'm going to leave a poll on the top right corner, so definitely click on that, because I want to get the best assessment of what you guys really think. Anyway, you guys, thank you for watching today's video. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Signing out.